Hi everyone. Thanks for coming for a quick session about CloudOps security. We'll talk about how you can bring visibility and control as IT or security admins into your organization's usage with cloud applications. We'll start with describing the problem. But first of all, a quick question. Who's familiar with CloudOps security? Who heard about it? All right. Have you tried it? Yeah? Okay, cool. Yeah, no, too far. All right. So, the world is changing. We're all like mobile first, cloud first, and we see increase in mobile usage. We predict that very soon, by 2020, 72% of the employees will use their mobile to get tasks done at work. And, that makes data breaches more easily because like all our resources are now in the internet, SaaS, IaaS, PaaS. And the bad guys manage to, breach data by using phishing techniques and take leverage of like weak passwords. And shadow IT has been used. So like if you're using your mobile as an employee, you'll always find an app out there to get your things, to accomplish your tasks. And in most cases, like those applications, what we refer as shadow IT applications, can be really risky, right? Like the admin doesn't have any visibility or control on them. Like imagine you just go to, maybe you're like an Office 365 customer, and that's what your employees are using, but one of your employees is just signing up to Dropbox with their organization address and using it, right? That's what we refer as shadow IT. So it's not the time anymore where like we could control as IT the security perimeter using our network. Is now, employees are accessing our accessing our apps from everywhere, and our on-premise network is no longer our line of defense. We need something else to replace it. So that's why we're going to talk about CloudOps security. So how CloudOps security will help us? So when you ask yourself questions such as like, how do I know and get visibility to which applications my employees are using? For cloud storage, for collaboration, for email, how do you control which employees can access which data and from where and from what device and from which applications? And how can you prevent data loss or ensure that your data is compliant wherever it goes? And of course, most importantly, how can you make sure that if someone is trying to compromise one of your employees' accounts who's using these cloud applications, you can detect that and sometimes even prevent that before it even happens. So CloudOps security provides 4 main capabilities. The first one is what we call discovery. We have a catalog of 15,000 cloud applications, and by analyzing the network traffic logs from your firewall or from your web proxy, we can give you a report that will show you soon with all the apps that we discovered, who's using them, and what is the risk that is associated with them, based on 60 parameters that I'll show you. The second thing we allow you to do is, by using a reverse proxy, you can control in real time what employees can do when they do access your corporate apps from maybe devices that you don't trust, from devices that are, security posture is low, or sometimes an employee is traveling with his own device and he needs access to Salesforce, but you don't want him to download the data. So we can limit what he can do. We can allow him to access Salesforce without the ability to download files, or we can allow him to download files, but we will protect them with Azure Rights Management on the way. So that was the second thing. The third thing is protecting your information. So employees, storing files, whether it's in Office 365 or Box, whatever you chose to use. G Suite, we support all the popular SaaS applications. And it will allow you to set policies to prevent data loss and also to ensure that your data is compliant. So for example, any document that someone uploads that has sensitive information like credit cards or social security number, you can ensure that it's protected and encrypted, or you can ensure that it's not shared with people outside your organization. There's a lot of different controls that you can apply. And then the last one is by monitoring user activities, whatever these users are doing, we give you this visibility. We also allow you to monitor and identify high-risk usage. So for example, if I have an employee who's suddenly downloading ton of documents from somewhere, or starting to modifying, files and changing their extensions to something that we know is like ransomware, or maybe someone is like deleting an email from Russia and a second later is uploading a document from Australia. We call those things anomalies, and we can alert you, and you can also set an automatic action for remediation, such as suspending the user or requiring him to sign in again with multi-factor authentication. So let's show you guys a demo. Here is the main dashboard of CloudOps Security. And first, let's talk about Shadow IT Discovery. So here in the Discover menu, let me show you how you can easily sign up and create the report that I'll show you yourself. You start with choosing your network appliance, firewall or web proxy, and then just uploading the traffic log. If you don't have one, you can easily click on View and Verify and download a sample log to produce it yourself with our test data. Once the report is produced, you'll see something like that, and you'll see how many apps we found in your organization, how many users are using them, IP addresses, and how much traffic goes to these apps. We also show you a breakdown by app categories, such as like webmail and collaboration, or by risk level, such as like how much apps are risky, how much are not. And you can, of course, drill down. So like if I'll click on the discovered apps, I'll see a list of all the apps that we discovered. And as you can see, I have on the left a lot of categories. So if I want to drill down into cloud storage, for example, I can see that there's 51 different cloud applications in the cloud storage category that my employees have been using. So maybe the next thing I want to see is which app has the lowest score, because it's probably the riskiest. So as you can see, we give an automatic risk assessment score for each application. So let's just click on one of them, something that we may be familiar with. I don't know. So we transfer. So as you can see, there's 3 different categories of parameters that we show you: general, security, and compliance. So here I can see, for example, that this app doesn't have SOC 1 certificate or HIPAA. And maybe I can create a policy that monitors any cloud storage usage with apps that do not have this certificate and have been used by more than 50 users in my organization. I want to alert it. And we can, of course, allow you to investigate which users are using it, or export blocking rules to your firewalls to stop using it. So that was the Shadow IT part. Now, when we talk about threat protection, protecting your data, we're now referring to the applications that you do deploy and the business applications that you purchase and manage in your own, maybe Office 365 or maybe Salesforce, ServiceNow, and others. So this is what we call the connected apps. And to deploy them, it's really easy. Unlike the Shadow IT, which we use network traffic logs from the firewall, here we're just authorizing CloudOps Security using auth to access the SaaS apps that you want to protect. So whether it's G Suite or AWS or ServiceNow, it's very easy. It takes just a few minutes, and you don't need to download or install anything. It's all here. And once you do that, you'll get full visibility into the user activities and the files. So here's an example of the files. I can see files from all the apps that I connected to, whether it's Office 365 and Box. And for each app, I can see, let's choose OneDrive for Business to just look at it specifically. So I can see all the files that my employees are uploading there. And for each file, I'll be able to see which users uploaded it. And I can filter on only apps that are shared, only files that are shared externally. Let's do external, public, but I'll select all the apps. And if I want, I can see which users have access to this file, where is this file located, what's the path that it's on, and of course, also I can set policies to detect sensitive information or files that violate my compliance rules that will automatically, for example, quarantine the file, remove the sharing, or notify the owner or the manager of this user that he just violated the policy of the company. So to do that, I just need to choose the right filters. So here I chose access level of external. And maybe the policy I want to do is to detect credit cards. So I'll click on New Policy, and I'll choose to use our built-in DLP. And I can either use a custom regular expression or one of the built-in data types, and choose what to do in that case. And one of the interesting things we just released this Ignite is the ability to automatically apply classification to files, right? So for those of you who are not familiar with Azure Information Protection, it's a technology that allows you to set usage restrictions on a file. So wherever it goes, it's just protected. And you can also limit what people can do. They maybe not be able to print it, but they can just view it. And the document will expire. But also now you can also classify it. So you put a label on the file so you can easily discover where it goes and just focus on the documents that are more sensitive and critical to your organization. So with Cloud App Security, you can apply those policies on each file that your employees are uploading to any of these cloud apps that you're connected to. Very powerful. And then, of course, you can view if somebody downloaded a sensitive file from outside your region, country, or whatever. And then the last thing I want to show you is the user activities. So if I'll go to Investigate and choose the activity log, I'll see a list of all the user activities on these apps that I connected to. Let's drill down to OneDrive for Business for a sec. So you can see a lot of access file operations, which makes sense. That's what people usually do on OneDrive. Modify folder. And for each of these activities, you get a lot of information, such as where this activity happened. The actor did that. Was it in my country or was traveling? Was this IP address, is it a risky IP address? Is it a botnet? We use the security intelligence graph to get this TI, this threat intelligence. And a bunch of other things that you can use, such as what is the device. And if I share the document with somebody else, I can maybe dig into this somebody else, this recipient, and see what he did on when he accessed this file that we shared with. So it's very, very strong forensic and investigation capabilities to give you full visibility into what happens with your cloud organization. And you can also create policies. So one of the policies that I can create, for example, will be tell me if someone, a user, is downloading a lot of documents. So this would be the mass download by a single user policy. Let's go to the settings and show you how it's built. So what we're tracking here is any activity of from this list, like download attachment or download file, and etc., that happens repeatedly, which you can configure, such as 10 times in less than 2 minutes. And here we choose to create an alert when it happens, and we can also send an email when it happens, or a text message, or stream those alerts to your SIEM, ArcSight, or any other syslog supported servers. In the governance section, we can take an action such as suspending the user or requiring the user to sign in again, which is pretty powerful if we suspect that the user is compromised. So let's take a look at the alerts that come from this policy. Here I see that we have 11 open alerts. I'll click on that, and now we'll go to the alerts page. And here we see that the user admin at blah, blah, blah triggered this policy because it downloaded a lot of files from Dropbox for Business. So I can, of course, get some more information about it to understand if it's a legit operation or not. Can get more information about this user, like a summary of his frequent locations or his IP addresses, etc. And there's really a long variety of options that you can do. We have a use case document that gives you ideas for all the threats, all the most common threats, and which policies we recommend you to create and how to configure them to protect you against them. And there's also a policy that we call general anomaly detection, which is very interesting. It's similar to activity policy, it also monitors the user behavior, but it gives you automatic alerts when we believe that something out of the ordinary happened. So let's give you an example. So this is an example of one of the anomaly alerts. I don't know if you can read it, I'll try to zoom in. But we see that this user is an administrator. And he accessed Yammer from Nigeria for the first time. Like nobody else from our organization ever accessed Yammer from Nigeria. We also see that this user was in United Kingdom and Nigeria at around the same time. And I can, like, of course, like investigate his activities. Here we see the two logins, one from Nigeria and the other from United Kingdom. It could, of course, be like not just the login, but also like accessing a document or posting something on Yammer. And we can like drill down, go to this IP address, see what else happened from it. Maybe we'll discover other users that got compromised. And there's really like a long list of options here that you can use to investigate and detect threats in near real time. The last thing I didn't demo is how to control, like, for example, and limit, for example, in real time, users who download documents to unmanaged devices. But I would recommend you to watch the CloudOps security session that we had yesterday, where we demoed that integration with Azure AD. It, again, doesn't require any deployment, which is pretty amazing. We're using Azure, any application that has single sign-on with Azure AD to route the end user through our proxy, and then from our proxy to the destination, which is the SaaS application. So the entire communication is monitored by our proxy, and we're able to protect the data or limit what the user can do and give you real-time monitoring similar to what you're looking at here. Any questions? All right. Thank you very much. And you can give it a try. Everybody can just go to cloudopsecurity.com and sign up for a free trial. You'll get 90 days where you can start playing with that. Enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you.